Welcome to Escher Cooperative House. This is where I live, along with about 170 other people. Escher is part of a group of housing cooperatives in Ann Arbor called the Intercooperative Council, or ICC. The ICC developed out of students' dire need for affordable room and board during the Great Depression. Today, it offers housing opportunities and community to both students and non-students. In a housing co-op, everyone who lives there owns a share in the building. Our costs go towards food and building upkeep. On the first day you move in, you're reminded to walk around like you own the place, because you do. But also, remember that everyone else owns the place too. Being a part of a housing cooperative has tremendous benefits. One of my favorite things about co-ops is the sense of autonomy I have in owning this space. Everyone who lives here takes part in caring for and shaping the building. Because Escher is so large, it has a unique structure from other co-ops. Though it is one collective house, it is split into 9 separate suites. But it hasn't always been this way. Escher Education Chair, Rowan Price, will tell us about the house's initial organization.
The interesting thing about Escher is that while today it is one large cooperative house, it has only been that way since 2014. Originally, each suite was a separately operated house, so there were 9 separately operated houses in the same building. Now that created a lot of extra work. There's a lot of extra paperwork involved, and a lot of labor that was duplicated. And so in 1985, the ICC voted to join these suites into 2 houses, O'Keeffe and Renaissance. Now, in 2014, they again realized that having more than one house per building causes a lot of problems, and so they voted to join the 2 once more into what we now know as Escher Cooperative House.
The names of the houses were established by the first residents of the building in 1970, and we still use them today. These names really reflect the social and political mindsets of the residents of the first cohort of cooperators. The suites' names are the most prominent reminder of the students who founded this co-op. Tranter Mir. This name came from a compromise between those who preferred Mir, phonetically the Russian word for peace, and Tranter, which is the planet at the center of the universe in Isaac Asimov's Foundation trilogy. Walden. Officially Walden 3, this suite was of course named for Henry David Thoreau's home in the novel Walden. Sinclair. John Sinclair was a jazz poet and prominent hippie from Flint, Michigan, and a U of M alum. In 1970, he was in prison for possession of marijuana, and protests for his release were in full swing. Bag End. Named after the home of Bilbo Baggins in Lord of the Rings. There's not much more to say about that one. Zapata. Escher's most revolutionary suite, named after Emiliano Zapata Salazar, Mexican revolutionary at the turn of the century. In 1970, a film was released telling the story of his life. Coincidence? Valhalla. Presumably, this suite contains a secret portal to the afterlife of Norse mythology. The art on the door shows a Valkyrie, a warrior maiden and symbol of feminine power. Russell. This suite was named for Bertrand Russell, British philosopher, mathematician, and logician who passed away in February of 1970. He once said, quote, "The only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation." The John Lennon song, Instant Karma, was released in 1970, which may have influenced the house's name. The word from Buddhist philosophy was generally in vogue in the 60s and 70s. Falstaff. Falstaff was named for a comic side character from multiple Shakespeare plays, Sir John Falstaff. The character is known for his selfish, dishonest, and thieving nature, the opposite of a good co-opper. While other cooperatives in the ICC are refurbished homes, Escher is unique in that it was built to be a co-op from the start. At its conception, this space was built for cooperative living. Each of Escher's 9 suites has its own small living area and kitchen, along with about 16 bedrooms, mostly singles and a few doubles. Each suite has specific rules about quiet hours and pets, and each co-opper has a 15-minute weekly chore within their own suite. In addition to the suites, there are spaces that are shared by the entire house. There are 2 large dining rooms where we have dinner every night. There's a rec room, a music room, and a laundry room. Each resident has a 3-hour weekly house chore: cooking, cleaning, or doing maintenance. I think what makes housing cooperatives special is the collective responsibility that its residents share. This strong sense of responsibility stems from 2 things. The first is the democratic structure that we operate under. There are bi-weekly house meetings where we vote on the house's policy, discuss upcoming events, and bring up concerns to our housemates. There's an elected body of officers, all residents of the building, who do administrative work to make sure the operation of the house runs smoothly. Ultimately, every house member has many pathways to be involved in how things are run, and everyone has to be at least a little bit involved. It's pretty much impossible to have no impact. The second thing that really contributes to our sense of pride and responsibility is visible as you approach the building, as you cross the threshold of the suites, and as you walk through the halls. Since the houses were named in 1970, we have been slowly molding this space in our own image. We paint the walls frequently with new colors or entire murals. You're encouraged to put up posters and art on the wall for everyone to enjoy. Our ownership is what allows us to do this, but our creative action reinforces that sense of control. It is a constant reminder to care for the space as others have before you. In my opinion, there should be more places like Escher. Places where people share collective ownership, are empowered by the passion and responsibility of those that live there. I hope you enjoyed this peek into cooperative living, and I hope you are encouraged to seek out opportunities for cooperation in the spaces that you occupy.